when it comes to blackness now, what I notice, it's either we're all the same or nothing. I have a huge problem with that, because in some ways I feel that it goes beyond the political ideology of what Pan-Africanism is meant to be. In some ways, I feel it goes beyond that, and it starts to turn into some form of like worship of Africa, or worship of West Africanness. And it's like, that's the epitome of blackness, and everyone else needs to bend the knee to that and deny who they are and what they are and what they bring and what their culture is.
Because there is no such thing in Africa as our people. You get what I mean? A lot of us are not blacks until we leave Africa. We are our individual tribes.
I totally agree with that. I agree with that, which is why I don't like when there's this push to force identity, certain West African countries and their specific identities onto Caribbean people. Do you guys know how we usually do this? If you guys do want to come on and start this discussion, you are welcome to come up, and I will bring you guys on and we will pick up where we left off. Okay, but you know what the topic is? Okay, this is a continuation of something that started a few weeks ago now. Like flipping out, it went by very quickly, but it started off with a situation on a live stream that was not my own, right? About my community, and a lot of offensive nonsense was being said, and I had to back my people. Come to find out, though, I was backing my people against people that weren't even Caribbean. I thought they were, because there was no pictures. But then that led to a discussion. Do we need to start gatekeeping against disrespect and keep our internal politics and so on to ourselves and discuss it among ourselves only, and not invite everyone to the flipping conversation? And that led to a bunch of people that happened to be West African that had a lot to say, even though it wasn't to do with them, and I was talking to my own community. And then, of course, that led to more conversations, because there were people that didn't like what I said. They said, we're all Black British at the end of the day. And then I said, well, what's that then? You know, you're either Caribbean or African heritage in the UK under blackness. That's what it is. So let's not try and erase now. And then that started a whole new conversation. Hang on, let me move this box. I'm using my laptop today, guys, for those of you that don't know what's going on. Oh, wait. Hang on, let me dock it. One sec. Lovely. Cool, we're good. So, it's a thing. You're saying it's a thing. Black British is a racial category in the UK, as is mixed race, which is a racial category in the UK, as is white, as is Asian, okay? But we know in the UK that under that, there are ethnic categories, okay? Because we're not a monolith. And it's important to acknowledge ethnic categories, different ethnicities of different cultures, ways of life, and so on. Oh, hold on a sec. Let me block you, Mr. Mendel, whatever your flipping name is. You know what I'm talking about. So if you're gonna gaslight, you can piss off. So with that being said, I think that one of the things that happens when you erase culture and ethnicity, and then you make everyone a monolith, is it opens up the doors to disingenuous conversation, the disrespect that I saw that led to all of this in the first place, the arguments that were had that led to these lives that I've been doing, right? Because the reality is we're not a monolith. That's just the truth. So to suggest that everyone is one, knowing that that's not true, means that when things are being said that shouldn't be said, no one's being held accountable, because we're all going to hide under this banner of, well, no, don't worry, we're all family. It doesn't matter, when suddenly ethnicity and cultural differences become relevant and people want to use that to cuss you out or violate you or mock you. It's stupid. It's stupid. Everyone has an ethnic group that everyone aligns with within their respective ethnicities, and it's fine and it's a good thing. But I don't like when everyone, the people that didn't like my response to specific people that had an issue with my community and with Caribbean people, I don't like when they use this view of Black Britishness without Caribbean or African attached to it to justify the behavior of other people that are being disrespectful. I don't like it. I think it's a cop-out. Which then leads me to the other question, as you can see on the screen. Are you a Pan-Africanist? There are people that are Pan-Africanists, which is fine. I used to be a Pan-Africanist, as you know, I'm not anymore. But there are people that come on all the time that are, which is also fine. And I like to know, if you are a Pan-Africanist, why? If you're not a Pan-Africanist, why? We had someone come on that used to be a Pan-Africanist and then changed their mind and is no longer a Pan-Africanist. And we asked why. Because I think this is relevant to the conversation. Your mindset around Pan-Africanism determines the kind of responses that I tend to get when we have these conversations. So I like to know. So that's what we're going to do, okay? We're going to pick up from where we left off. Is my multi-guest thing set up? Yeah, it is. Okay. So for those of you that do want to come back and continue this conversation, you know what to do. Just request up and I will accept you. I'm hoping on the computer I can see as soon as you request up. I think, okay, yeah, I can see. Arawakian. Yeah, cool. This is new. I'm getting used to this. Let me know if you guys can hear me properly as well, because I've had to do a whole different setup today. Arawakian,
Yeah, we can hear you. We can hear you.
Okay, yeah, I forgot about this volume thing. Okay, go ahead. Let everyone know where you're based and what your ethnic background is.
Yeah, so I am based in London, UK. I'm Jamaican.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wanted to come up and I wanted to talk about this whole Pan-Africanism thing.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think, to be honest, I do think Pan-Africanism, that's the only tool that's going to kill unalive YT supremacy. I do believe that. I do believe that. However, everybody needs to be on board with it and everybody needs to recognize it, that is the only thing that is going to unalive YT supremacy. Mm-hmm. So if there are people that are not recognizing that, then that's problematic. Because how can we then ever, unite worldwide? You know, YT supremacy is everywhere. It's all across the world. You know what I'm saying? So that's what makes it a little bit... I think that's why people get a chip on their shoulder when it comes to like Pan-Africanism, because it's like, yeah, you're kind of expected to be Pan-Africanist and sort of, you know, like think about unifying and being pro-BLK and being for the Black community and all of this stuff. But not everybody is like that. So that's why people get a chip on their shoulder because of it. Yeah, I kind of had those thoughts before. Like, you had me up on the panel, and I kind of had those thoughts before about Pan-Africanism. And my sole reason why I said that, yeah, I didn't really subscribe to Pan-Africanism anymore is because, it's not going to work if other people don't subscribe to it. It's just never going to work. So the only way it's going to work is if everyone subscribes to it, everyone has respect for each other. Mm-hmm. But yeah, clearly, like, everybody really doesn't have respect for each other, and that's a problem.
Is that what you've noticed?
Yeah, that's definitely what I've noticed. That people don't have respect for each other, like, both ways. You know, when it comes to BLK Americans, when it comes to Caribbeans, when it comes to Africans, like, yeah, no one really has respect for each other. So how is it going to work if nobody's respecting each other? Yeah, I'm back to being Pan-Africanist just because I feel as though, like I said, yeah, these YT lot, I'm not going to lie, like, they are really, like, moving mad in the UK these days. So, yeah, I'm not going to lie, I feel like we need to unite, man. I'm going to be so real. Even though, like, yeah, we might have beef with each other and we don't like each other, I feel like we need to unite still. Yeah, I'm just going to keep it 100% real. And that's just really what it is. Do you know what I'm saying? And we need to, like, get over, like, well, not get over, but we need to, like, sit down and talk about certain things. People that are willing to sit down and talk about it without getting in their feelings and being upset, I feel like we should be able to do that with them. And yeah, because like times are getting mad. I'm just gonna keep it real. Like times are really getting mad. So yeah, like,
what is Pan-Africanism to you?
well, I feel like it's everybody uniting, regardless of what ethnic you're from. Everybody uniting and putting their race first. That's what I believe.
The race.
Pan-Africanism. Yeah. Yeah, the race. And the reason why I say race is because, like, that's the only basis that it's going to work on. Like, if we're doing it based on ethnic groups, it's never going to work, because then people are going to start feeling like, oh, yeah, they're better than the next ethnic group. Then there's going to be disrespect and blah, blah, blah. How is it going to work if we're doing it based off ethnic group? It needs to be based off race and you just
Don't
being
you
a
think
black
that's
person.
what's already happening, though? Because
What
that's
do you
my
mean?
point. That's already happening. So the issue that I've already come across, which started these conversations, was people that were being the amount of stereotypes that were being thrown around, the insults, the mockery, in a space that I actually thought was Caribbean people initially. The flag was on it, the Jamaican flag was on it. And it wasn't Caribbean people, it was West African people that was saying the stuff I was hearing that I had to argue with. And then the response to my response when I got upset about it was, well, we're all black British. Come on, like we're all
Yeah,
the
but
same.
that's
And
what I'm
my thing
saying.
is, we're not
But
the same, because if we were the
yeah,
same, the stuff I
absolutely.
was hearing wouldn't have been said. So
Yeah, absolutely. We're not the same. Like, people saying, well, we're not the same in terms of like our culture. We're not the same in terms of our, identity. We're not the same in terms of that, right? When it comes to our own specific ethnic groups. That's the thing. I don't agree with the disrespect. So that's what I was saying. That was like back to my previous thing that I was saying, where I don't agree with the disrespect. And I feel like in order to really be Pan-Africanist, then people really are gonna have to cut out the disrespect, period. It's gonna have to stop, but that's what makes Pan-Africanism really hard, because people do like to, throw insults. They like to feel like they're better than the next person. They like to, just be on their high horse and all of that stuff. So that's what really makes Pan-Africanism really hard. If you're experiencing disrespect against your ethnic group, of course, that's going to make anybody feel angry and upset. So yeah, that's what.
My thing with it is, every time I hear someone explain Pan-Africanism to me, but also the way they see it, and why they feel we all need to be Pan-Africanists and so on. You said put the race first. My thing is, my concern is this need to essentially erase ethnicity and make ethnicity irrelevant, because that is
No,
what
that
this
shouldn't be
is
a
why I
thing.
say
No.
I feel it's been weaponized. Because when we say we're all black, at the end of the day, that leaves room for the violations that we've talked about. So I want to know why we can't have potentially why, if Pan-Africanism is about working with each other to get shared benefits and so on politically, from a political front, why can't that be done without the erasure of ethnicities, or making ethnicities and different cultures irrelevant? Why
Yeah,
can't
I agree. I agree in a sense where our ethnicities are relevant. Like, I don't want to give away my ethnicity. I love being Jamaican. I love my culture. So I don't want to give away my ethnicity. But that's what I'm saying. It's a thing where it's kind of like, yeah, because we have our ethnicities and stuff. Okay, so I know I said uniting on being black. That's what people should look towards. You get me? I'm not saying do away with our ethnicities, but that's what people should look towards. Like, what I'm saying? That then that way we won't be cussing each other out about just dumb shit. You know what I'm saying? We'll be uniting on the fact that we are black people, the fact that, we're treated a certain way in the world, the fact that it is a continuous fight, the fight doesn't really stop. Do you know what I'm saying? People really need to start moving militant like that. Do you know what I'm saying? If we were all moving militant like that, then I feel like there'll be less division.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. I think my issue is it's not possible. It's not possible. Like, people are not going to stop disrespecting each other see themselves as superior to other groups. Like, this is never going to happen. It's a dream. It's not going to happen. So my thing is, why can't the focus just be on working together in political ways and so on and so forth, the way people say they want it to be, but without this without me having to deny what I am? Because you see how you said you're Jamaican, you're proud Jamaican, and so on. We have people saying stuff like, you guys don't have a culture. Your language isn't your language. It's Nigerian. It's pidgin. You guys is that and the third. And my problem is, when you respond to that and you tell people to shut up, basically, you'll be told that you're being anti-African, which is what I've experienced, or you're you think you're superior. Caribbeans think they're superior, or you know, you guys are African at the end of the day, and we're all the same. My thing is, I don't understand why being a Pan-Africanist means that the conversations we've been having shouldn't be had about our differences, why culture shouldn't be relevant when it comes to speaking about our different ethnic backgrounds and so on. We know that Europeans, right, when we look at history and what was done historically when it comes to colonization, imperialism, development, all of that, right? We know that they did that as a white race, right? And they've introduced this whole white versus black versus yellow. These are their terms, right? They've introduced this stuff. But we also know that they have their own ethnic groups and they don't see themselves as the same as each other ethnically. They don't at all. They really genuinely do not. But if anyone starts to try something when it comes to whiteness, tries to attack whiteness or respond to whiteness in any way, they will unite. That's what they do. They're very good at it. They're very good at it. When it comes to blackness now, what I notice, it's either we're all the same or nothing. I have a huge problem with that, because in some ways I feel that it goes beyond the political ideology of what Pan-Africanism is meant to be. In some ways, I feel it goes beyond that, and it starts to turn into some form of like worship of Africa, or worship of West Africanness. And it's like, that's the epitome of blackness, and everyone else needs to bend their knee to that and deny who they are and what they are and what they bring and what their culture is. I don't like that element of it. And so I don't believe that that will stop. Based off of what I've been seeing over the past few weeks anyway, I just don't see it.
No, I do hear you. Like, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I just think like people have this, I'm not saying that, yeah, we should just let people be like, oh yeah, you're just speaking pidgin or whatever. Like, no, because we've created our own specific culture. Even the patois that we speak, it comes from specific environments that people that were enslaved were going through, and they created their own language so that they could communicate with each other. That is nothing like pidgin. Yes, it might have, you know, certain influences and whatnot, because just, you know, because the people are African and whatnot. But yeah, like, you know, it is something different. So yeah, I feel like people need to understand that. That's why I'm saying the respect goes both ways. Like, people need to understand that. For one, they need to understand that, yeah, like, people have their own culture and they have their own experiences, and just respect it. Like, people need to understand that. So it goes both ways. The respect goes both ways. But do you know what I'm saying? Like, even when it comes to like a lot of this stuff that, yeah, I hear Africans saying to disrespect Caribbean people, like a lot of the stuff, like, they don't really even understand it. They don't understand certain things. Like, they don't understand the systemic racism that Caribbean people have faced in the UK for decades.
You don't feel
Caribbean people have been here much longer. Say that again?
You don't
By the way, can
feel
you stand me?
Just a second, Arakin. Just trying to sort out my volume, and I cannot hear properly at all. 1 second.
Hey.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, I can hear now. Thank you. Okay, I can hear you perfectly now. Can you hear me properly? Yeah? You can hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you good, yeah.
Audio's good. Lovely. Okay. Yeah, I'm sorry. I
Yeah,
couldn't
yeah.
hear anything. That was weird. Right. So I'm gonna bring in the others. We will continue. Okay, so SSK, let everyone know what your ethnic background is and where you're based. I know who you are, but let's let the
Wait,
people
but can I finish though? Can I finish?
Yeah,
I
yeah,
just
go
wanted
ahead.
to finish
Go ahead. Go
with what
ahead.
I was saying.
Go ahead.
Okay, cool. Yeah. I just wanted to say, yeah, I don't really feel like, so of course, like, I feel like Africans understand the systemic racism that Caribbean's people face to a certain extent, because they face that same systemic racism
Right.
because they're BLK people living in the UK. But it goes beyond that. Like, it goes that, like, there's certain things that they just don't get or understand, like when it comes to slavery and stuff like that. They don't get nor understand things of that nature, because obviously, yeah, like, they didn't experience that. So I feel like that's where some of the disconnect even comes from. Do you get me? Like, so when I hear them dissing up, like, Caribbean people about certain things, it's just like, bro, like, they're not really understanding certain things. And I feel like, we need to make it our job to start moving militant and be like, do you know what? Yeah, you're chatting shit. Like, do you know, like, this, that, and that happened? Like, there's certain things. Like, I was even doing some research today on this systemic racism that Caribbean people faced in the UK, and why there's just certain things that we don't really F with. Like, like, we don't really F with the system. That's one thing that we don't really F with. We don't really F with the system like that. And that's just because, like, we...
My thing with that is, yeah, you see how you said we need to essentially educate people, right? My thing is this: Pan-Africanism itself is really it's very much a non African continent thing. It's very Caribbean and American. It's very wider diaspora. It's birthed out of the wider diaspora, right? You think of people like Marcus Garvey and so on. It's an outside of the African continent thing heavily, right? I think Caribbeans in general go hard for Pan-Africanism. I think people in the Americas generally go hard for Pan-Africanism. So because that's already a thing, and it's already been a thing for a very long time, this whole thing of we just need to educate people, I think I guess my question would be, how long do you feel we need to be educating people? Because at this point, the kind of disrespect you're saying you've heard as well, which I've heard, okay, I think all of us have, right? Uh, we're talking how many years now after the birth of Pan-Africanism? I just don't see it changing. I don't. I think generally speaking, when it comes to standing with each other to get certain results, I have zero problems with that. I don't have any problems with people working together to get certain results. I have a problem with the denial of the fact that there are differences. And I don't have the patience anymore to be trying to educate people on our history and who we are and why things are the way they are and all the rest of it, because I'm genuinely convinced that they already know. This isn't new. It's not new. Like the people know. And I think one thing that happens,
Yeah, but what I'm saying here is that,
one thing that happens with
so, like, I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. When it comes to certain things, wait, hold on. I'm just saying, when it comes to certain things, we really...
hold on. One thing that happens with Pan-Africanism, right? And bearing in mind, I grew up in Birmingham, and I'm from Handsworth originally. For those of the people that have come on from Birmingham, they know exactly what I mean when I say 104 Heathrow Road. Everyone knows what that is if they're from there. And they're Caribbean raised in Birmingham. It's a Pan-Africanist organization. A lot of us were raised in environments like that. And what happens is you're kind of trained to look to West Africa. You like trained to look to it. And I feel that there's this thing that happens where you eventually stop looking at what you are and who you are, and you start focusing heavily on West Africa, just heavy at the expense of your own background and your own culture and so on. There's like this worship. That's the only thing I can liken it to. It's like a form of worship, like we're worshiping West Africanness. And then I think that breeds a form of superiority for certain people of those backgrounds, where we hear the kind of stuff that we've been hearing. Because now if I respond to it, what I'll get is, well, no, come on, we're all black. all black. And there was even the Caribbean guy that said, you know, well, we should let them say what they want about us and criticize us the way they want because of our brothers. And I'm like, when did it become a thing where now we just take violations in the name of Pan-Africanism? I think it's ridiculous.
Yeah, but I'm not saying that we should do that though. Like that's the thing when it comes to when I'm.
Can I say something?
Just a sec. I'm gonna let SSK go before you, and then I'll let you go. Okay. Go ahead, Arawak, and you can finish your point, and then I'm bringing it.
Yeah, I was just going to say that's the thing. I'm not saying that we should do that. I'm not saying like, oh yeah, let's take violations in the name of Pan-Africanism. That's not what I'm saying. In fact, yeah, I feel like if anybody is spitting any sort of rhetoric that is anti-Caribbean, anti-BLK American, you should in fact check them. Do you know what I'm saying? Definitely check them and let them know like, yeah, like that's not what we're on here. Do you know what I'm saying? In fact, I feel like more African people should be checking their own flipping people as well, because that helps. More African people should be checking their own flipping people.
I agree.
So when it comes to certain stuff that's being said against other groups of BLK people, yeah, Africans, they need to check that. Since we're talking about Pan-Africanism, like that's how it should be. Like if somebody else even in your ethnic group is chatting mad, you will check them. Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah. That's how it should be, like really and truly. So like, yeah, I just think like there's certain things like that need to take place before, you know what I'm saying? Like people don't really get it or understand it.
My thing is when I've looked at like any of the videos that I've seen or people doing lives or posting randomly first thing in the morning talking about Caribbean people, because I swear down my feed's been flooded with it. I don't know what's going on, but my feed has been flooded with this weirdness for weeks now, right? And all I ever see is I only see Caribbean people in the comments telling them to leave Caribbeans alone. That's what I see. I see Caribbean people saying, why'd you keep talking about us? Leave us alone. Mind your business. Shut up. This, that, and the third. That's what I see. I don't see West African people in the comments telling them to stop. I don't. When I've done these lives, with the exception of one person last week, and then I think it was 3 or 4 the week before, and I said that was a surprise to me and it was very refreshing. People usually are defending the behavior, or they're saying, oh, come on, it's just one person. It's not one person. It's not one person. Or, you know, Coley, it's just a misunderstanding. It's not a misunderstanding. The disrespect's just what it is. Saying Jamaican women, for example, are whores is not a misunderstanding. That's just what that is. Like, that's what the person said. If someone's saying, oh, well, you guys aren't educated and West Africans were educated, West African people are more educated, that's not a misunderstanding. That's just someone saying what they feel, right? There was only one person last week who said, no, it's disrespectful. It is. They shouldn't be talking like that. I don't condone that. I don't agree with it. And he happened to be Nigerian. Generally speaking, though, I see a lot of defending happening. So I don't feel that there are people of the communities we've referenced that are calling the behavior out. They don't seem to want to call the behavior out. They only seem to want to call out the response to the behavior. And I don't take that lightly because I think it's on purpose. We even had a lady come on crying. Like, I'm sorry, but at this point it's getting silly. Like, the woman came on crying. She mentioned, she said, you know, she hates what happened during slavery. She brings up slavery. She was Nigerian, and then she started crying, and the whole thing was just weird. And then she said me, you know, it's just a misunderstanding when we're saying certain things. It's just the way we speak. We don't mean anything by it. And I'm like, well, that's a lie, though, isn't it? And I'd rather you just acknowledge the behavior as opposed to making excuses for it all the time. That's a huge problem for me. I don't like that. Anyway, Arawak can stick around because someone might want to respond to you. Let me bring in the others. So go ahead, Black Gold 0004. Where are you from, and what's your ethnic background? Where are you based?
I'm based in California.
Okay.
I'm actually Nigerian.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was listening to you. I don't know much about what it's like in Britain. I'm guessing you're from Britain, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I visited Britain briefly, and what I realized, let me just say, Nigerians out there, is that they have their little enclaves, right? So within those enclaves, they they pretty much, and these enclaves are not like just Nigerians per se. It's mostly like tribal enclaves, right?
Right.
And that's what we also have in the US as well. So this got me to understand something. A lot of them, a lot of my people, sadly, do not really understand what happened in the Atlantic slave trade, right? And have had situations where I found myself arguing with Nigerians that have lived in the US longer than I have, arguing with me that there is no racism. And I was like, that blew my mind. I was like, what the heck? So it got me to understand that because a lot of them live in these enclaves where they only kick it with African people, right? So they don't really get the full experience, right? So you could be, let's say, a whitey could be racist to them, and they cannot even pick up on it as long as it's not very obvious. You get what I mean? If it's like subtle or something like that.
They don't notice it, you're saying.
No, a lot of them don't pick it up. I promise you that. And the reason why someone like me can like pick it up is that when I came over here, I went through college, I mixed up with other people, college and then grad school, right? So I got to learn a lot of things that I did not know, quite frankly, as an African. Because growing up in Nigeria, we really don't know what's going on. We think we do. We see on TV, right? But experiencing discrimination and stuff like that is different from reading or hearing about it. You get what I mean? So when it comes to our brothers and sisters, when they say African Americans, Jamaicans, I love Jamaicans, and even back in Nigeria, I didn't even know a lot about like the other Caribbean nations, right? So even with Haiti, it's like barely talked about, but we knew about Jamaica because of reggae and stuff like that, and Jamaicans are really out there. So that's how little we knew about what really happened to us, right? And a lot of Africans are not even fully aware of, like, I'm Benin from the Benin Kingdom, right? But growing up, I did not even know about how the British invaded my own lands. And I went to school in Nigeria, right? So the history that I learned was the creation of the nation called Nigeria, but never the times prior to that. You get what I mean? And even if there was some history, it was like more oral spoken, right? So the reason of giving you this background is for you to understand that truly, sometimes when I've talked to my people, and when they talk, I have met Nigerians that I wanted to punch in the face because the stuff that they said was just so outlandish. It's like, what the heck are you talking about, bro? Are you crazy? You understand what I mean? And let me tell you how crazy it is, right? I've met Nigerians, undocumented Nigerians, that were supporting Trump becoming president. Think about it. Undocumented Nigerians that were supporting Trump becoming president, right? This was because he pretended to be Christian, right? So I'm telling you that this thing is mad crazy, right? And when you're talking about Pan-Africanism, let me bring in the Pan-Africanism into this now. When you're talking about Pan-Africanism, right? You have to realize that for you to have your sanity, I am a Nigerian who doesn't fuck with a lot of Nigerians. I do not talk to. It doesn't matter if they're from my tribe or from a different tribe. When I talk to you, just the way you reason tells me if I will talk to you some other time, right? It's like this. I have friends that I don't talk to anymore because once we start talking about like what's going on, when they open their mouth, I was like, this dude is an idiot. It thinks he's smart. Like you tell him like, hey, bro, what you're saying is completely outlandish, right? You like imagine talking to a fellow brother and they're telling you that racism isn't real. Like you're like, bro, you live in the United States. You're not in Nigeria. What the heck are you talking about? I will understand if a Nigerian from Nigeria is saying crazy stuff like that. You get what I mean? Because they haven't lived it. You feel me? And you over here, you cannot even pick up on it. It's insane. So think about it. And now you have this thing.
It's interesting you're saying this because the thing is, right? The people I've been talking about in the UK anyway, I'm not sure
Yeah.
what's happening with Nigerians in the States or anything like that, but in the UK, the people that I've
Yeah.
been talking about definitely know. they know. They know about the history, and especially like those who are British, who are West African,
Yeah.
right? In
Mm-hmm.
heritage, they definitely know, and yet the disrespect has still persisted. I mean, we had someone who came on. I'd say it was probably 3 lives ago. Yeah, maybe like 3 years ago.
Uh-huh.
His argument was, yes, like we know about the history, like our people sold your people, but at the end of the day, and then he was making his argument. So he's aware of the history of a trade. He knows he's Nigerian, right?
Okay.
But
So
then
my sister, let me
he still
let me
hold
ask.
on, hold on. But then
Yeah.
he still had
Okay.
certain views, i.e., I don't want our people to get mixed up with Caribbeans because you guys have admixture and you're not the same as us, but we align more with Brazilians because Brazilians, they still practice the Yoruba religion, so they're closer to us than you guys, and we're more educated and this and a third. This is a Nigerian heritage person. He's British, right? Who knows about the history of
Yeah.
the slave trade, but still holds the views that he
Uh-huh.
has, still said the things that he said. So I'm not of the belief that the people I'm talking about are just oblivious to history.
Ignorant.
I don't believe they're
Yeah.
ignorant whatsoever. I think they know. I'm sure
So
they know.
from what you just said, I wanna pick out something. When you gotta pick out setting when a person is making a statement, right? Talking about a situation, you gotta pick out certain phrases. Like when they say our people, so our people is coming from the perspective of all Africans are the same people. The moment they say that stuff, I already know this person is an ignorant fool. You get what I mean? And then when they start talking about Brazil, and you're like, bro, what do you even know about Brazil? And I bet you all they know about Brazil would be about a soccer team or some stuff like that. Trust me. I have lived with these people, right? So look for key phrases like our people, because there is no such thing in Africa as our people. You get what I mean? A lot of us are not blacks until we leave Africa. We are our individual tribes. Even when
The
you
thing
go,
is, I totally agree with that. I agree with that, which is why I don't like when there's this push to force identity, certain West African countries and their specific identities onto Caribbean people. So we had someone that came on who was Bantu, right, living in Uganda.
yeah,
He said that Caribbean people, essentially, he felt we should all be calling ourselves African, not Caribbean, right? Now, my thing is this, that already I find it ironic given the fact that there are so many different countries in Africa, right? You've got the North, East, West, and South, and you don't even just call yourself African. I know that you don't, right? Because you will align with whatever your respective ethnicity is, right? But Caribbeans
yeah.
are meant to call themselves African, not Caribbean, because somehow it's a form of self-hate if you say you're Caribbean heritage. Even if you acknowledge having African ancestry, no, that's not enough. I must
Yeah.
bend the knee to Africanness. And then a lady, I think she's in the chat actually, who is Eritrean,
Yeah.
he told her that she's not African because of her admixture or her hair texture, or he called her Hindu or some shit. And my argument is,
Yeah.
how is it that people who are Caribbean heritage, who don't understand specific West African cultures, for example, or African cultures, right? They're in a different part of the world for hundreds of years and have developed their own cultures and so on. How then are we meant to say we're African, but someone who's actually African isn't allowed to call herself African in your eyes because of her, whatever you perceive to be her ethnic mixtures, right?
Okay.
The end of the day,
Yeah.
we know that on the continent, no one sees themselves as
Yeah.
the same. Even in Nigeria alone, I know you guys have multiple
Yeah.
tribes, right? I know an Igbo is not the same as
Yeah.
someone who's Yoruba. I know that there's differences
Yeah.
between, like, when it comes to rules around marriage and mixing with different tribes, and that might be frowned upon. That's just in one country. Now, couple that up with how one country might see a completely different country in Africa, on the continent of Africa, right? Then couple that up
Yeah.
with East versus West. But yet, with all these differences, Caribbeans are meant to deny being Caribbean and say that they're African. It feels like a weird form of worship. I mean, the
Okay,
guy
can I say
actually said
something?
they're the original people in Nigeria. He said the original human beings.
Yeah, how can you tell who's the original human beings in Nigeria? See, this is what I'm getting back to. Like when I say you got to be able to discern when you're talking to stupid people, right? So because first of all, let me say, right now I told you I'm Nigerian, right? That is a country that we did not even create. Right?
Yeah.
So the natives of the lands did not create any place called Nigeria. The British came, colonized, and amalgamated, forced a group of people together, right? And today we are saying we're Nigerian. So that fool from Uganda, what he doesn't realize is this. He is calling himself a Ugandan, right? A country that did not exist.
He
And
did say
saying
that.
and
He did say that. He called it colonial. He
wait,
didn't want to say Uganda. He said it's a colonial term, to be
yeah,
fair to him.
but my point is that he was saying that and telling other people that they cannot identify as with a state that was also created. You get what I mean? It's like you are in the same boat with those people. You're identifying with a name that was created, just like those other countries. Like if you say Jamaica, right? These are also African brothers that now have a new state, right? So they can identify with whatever countries that they come from. You understand what I mean? But
What? Wait,
then
sorry.
now
Wait. Did you say Jamaicans are Africans?
they have African heritage, right? Heritage.
Okay. Because
Yeah, that's what I mean.
ancestry is different. So
Yeah,
I need to redo my
heritage. Yeah,
language because you
yeah,
have.
that's what I mean.
Okay, fine.
That's what I
Because
mean. That's what I
as
mean.
you know, there are multiple people there. That's why we have
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
many one
yeah,
people on the coat of arms.
yeah.
Right. Okay.
And the question is, the thing is, I'm pretty sure that I don't know much about the islands before the British took it. I'm pretty sure that they also had natives on the lands before the British always like
Yes,
discovered a
Tainos.
place with people. You know what I mean? Yeah, the Tainos
Tainos
or
were
so,
there.
right?
Yeah. For those of you
So
that
so
don't
if
know, they were enslaved first. By the way, I know that people like to erase their existence and what happened to them, but they were there first, and they were enslaved first. The land was colonized initially by the Spanish, and
I'm,
they put Tainos to work and tortured them and abused them,
oh,
and there weren't many
yeah,
that survived, but some did survive, and then because of the declining numbers, then they started to bring in West African people that they were trading, right? And then you
yeah,
have Tainos and West African people working. Then you've got not working, being forced to work, should I say? Then you have the
yeah,
British that want to colonize the land and want to take it from Spain, the Spanish. So then, during one of the fights, the battles, approximately 1,500 Taino and West African slaves fled. Right? They then set up their group, and they're called the Maroons, which is derived from a Spanish word that means wild and untamed. Right? And then they set up their own
yeah,
thing. Right? They became the freed peoples, the Maroon people. Then you've got
yeah.
more people now that are being brought in from
So
West
Can I
Africa.
say
so
something?
It's
Yeah,
just a
can I
huge
say
stream.
something?
Yeah, go ahead.
absolutely.
Yeah, I just want to say something, Black. You know, I really do appreciate you coming up here, being honest, and you know what I'm saying. You know, just having an open mind. That's really good. Like, yeah, like I need people like you to start, you know, pushing that mindset amongst African people. Do you know what I'm saying? Because, like, yeah, just because we come from different ethnicities, we're not always gonna know things about other people. Do you get it? We're never gonna get it like to the T. We might get some parts of it, but we're never gonna get it to the T because everybody has their own unique experiences. Everybody has their own unique culture and whatnot. So yeah, like, you know, I'm gonna need you to start like, yeah, like really spreading that mindset that you have. You got a good mindset. I'm gonna need you to start spreading that mindset that you've got amongst other African people. You get it? And you know, I feel like, yeah, like if more people like you spread your mindset and your way of thinking, then that will help make things a little better. So
Just before
yeah.
you continue, just a second. Freed munition. You said Jamaicans have Igbo and Ashanti people. Tell us why that's a statement that you just want to make. Because again, this is the point that I'm making, right? Among many other points. we know that people in the islands have African ancestry, but for you it's not enough that that's been said, right? So now we have to just call everyone there either Ghanaian or Nigerian people. That's what we have to do now, right? So I want to know why that is, because I just keep flipping seeing it. K Funds, I saw your comment. You said Kemi, how do I say it? Is it Badenoch? You said she feels that Caribbean people shouldn't get reparations. Is that what you just said? Hey, Carmen Bella, how you doing?
Wait, who said that? Who said that? Who said that they feel Caribbean people shouldn't get reparations? Who said that?
It's one of my fans. Weirdo.
I don't know. I really do not get that. Not that logic.
K Fun said that. Kemi said that. You know the leader of the Conservative Party right now.
Oh yeah. She did say that.
Yeah.
She said that she feels like like Black Americans and Caribbeans shouldn't get reparations. Obviously, she's a raccoon anyway. Like, she's a raccoon. So yeah, man, she's just man. We can't even take her seriously.
Is that the Yoruba? Is that the Yoruba lady?
She's Nigerian.
I know there.
She's Nigerian. I don't know what tribe.
Yeah, she's Nigerian. Yeah, I think she's Yoruba. I don't even want to talk. That's not a human being. I don't see. She's an idiot. If she works right now, right, and she expects to get paid, right. So if these people walk these lands, it's their right to get paid. Their ancestors did all of this.
I agree with you. I want you to continue. I'm just going to respond to this comment. So Bowie said, if you don't identify with being West African, why should you get reparations? That's an amazing question. I'm actually genuinely amused by that question, because you're saying that people who have a history, right, of being traded, right, taken, trafficked, right, sold by West African people to Europeans and taken to the islands, right, the West Indies and so on, and then put to work, right, alongside the people that were indigenous to the islands as well, right? You're saying in order for them to be entitled to reparations for the heinous acts that was committed against them, they must not call themselves Caribbean. They have to call themselves West African. Why? Why are they not allowed to say they have West African ancestry but they're Caribbean? Why do they need to not call themselves Caribbean? Explain that to me. I want to know. Because you sound like another one. Like we have to worship you, innit? And just deny what we are. We have to deny that we are Caribbean heritage people with our own way of life and our own cultures. Despite the story, how horrible the story is, the fact that our people still came through, became strong, developed their own way of life, their own culture, their own traditions and all the rest of it, despite the fact that that was done under the worst of circumstances, right? You're saying that they must not say what they are now. They must just say they're West African. So no one who's Caribbean should say they're Caribbean. They have to say, I am West African, I'm not Caribbean. That's what you're saying people need to do now. Why? Why? Why is it never enough for someone to say, I have African ancestry, I'm Caribbean though. Yeah, my heritage is this. I have this, this, and this. My culture is this. My family are this. My family are from here. Da-da-da-da-da. We have these traditions and this is what we do now. And da-da-da-da-da. Why is that not enough for you? Why do they need to worship you? Why? And how dare you on top of it say that someone must not call themselves Caribbean. They have to say they're West African in order to be entitled to reparations. Are you taking the piss? Are you serious? So in order to get reparations, one must say, I'm not Caribbean. I'm not from the Americas or anything like that. I'm West African, and now I should be entitled to having reparations. That's your argument? That's what you feel people should say? Is that what you're saying? I'm confused. You know how weird that is? The fact is this, isn't it? Their history is what it is. They were taken from West Africa, and then the people that were there, and they were enslaved, right? And there were people that were taken from West Africa as well. Yes, absolutely. hence the African ancestry. We all know this story. So why then do they now need to just not call themselves Caribbean and say they're West African to get reparations? When everyone knows the history, I'm confused. I'm confused. Go ahead, Barry. Let everyone know where you're from and what your ethnic background is.
I'm Nigerian American.
Okay, go ahead.
And basically what I was saying is this. There's different type of Caribbeans. You have the Chinese Caribbeans, the Indian Caribbeans, it's like the Caribbean is basically a melting pot.
Yeah.
So anybody could be Caribbean. So what I was trying to say is, are you an Afro Caribbean? That's all I was saying. If you're saying Afro Caribbean, that means that okay, you descend from West Africa, because you have to make a distinction. Because Caribbeans, they're mixed with everything.
Yeah.
That those islands are mixed, so we don't know who's who. So do you want an Indian person to say, "Oh, I'm Afro-Jamaican," and claim your reparations?
Well, here's the thing. The thing is this, though, isn't it? You just said it. Do I want them to say they're Afro-Jamaican? Well, that would be ridiculous to say. It would be a ridiculous thing to say. When my point is this, and to be honest, I thought you were on that weird shit that I keep seeing. So you've explained it fine. It doesn't seem like that's what you were on. But for the most part, usually when I hear something like that from someone, it's the stance of you shouldn't call yourself Caribbean at all. You need to say that you're West. I mean, do you know what? I'm actually going to post something. I'll post it tomorrow. I'll post tomorrow. There are people saying things like, you guys don't have a culture. You guys don't have a culture. You're displaced people. You don't have a culture. There are other people saying, Jamaicans are just Nigerians. They're just Nigerians. Or your language is a Nigerian language. You don't have a language. You're this. It always comes back to this thing of either you accept our specific identity or you don't have one. And I don't like that. And if I'm honest, that's what I thought you were trying to get at. You can respond. Are you alive?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, your network is bad. Can you hear us?
I can
Yeah,
hear
your
you.
network got really bad.
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I think you're mistaken when Nigerian people are saying that that they're trying to claim Jamaican culture. I think what they're trying to say is, like, since the slave trade, a lot of Jamaicans kept the Igbo culture, Yoruba culture, and then they mix it in with their culture. So a lot of Nigerian people feel intertwined, and they feel like we're all related in a certain type of way, like we're all family. So when you deny Nigerians, it, you know what I'm saying, they feel like, I'm gonna be honest, we feel hurt, like, damn, like, why can't we be family?
Sorry, you said you feel hurt. Are you serious?
Now, I'm being honest. You're laughing, but I'm being serious. Like, you descend from West Africa, so we all look at each other as a one family diaspora. I think that's really the issue. But some Jamaicans, like, I'm really listening from your live, it's like they want to distance themselves from Nigeria. Is that what you're saying? Like, do you want to cut ties? Is that what you're saying?
Okay, that's a good question. Right.
Because if you want to cut ties, then you need to be specific. Because a lot of Nigerians are confused. Are we family or are we not? Because Black Americans have let us know that we're not Africans. We don't like you guys. We have cut ties with you. Not all Black Americans, but the
Bowie, the FBS.
I mean, the FBA, the FBA.
Yes, the FBS.
So now Jamaica. So that's why we're confused with Jamaicans. Like, what is it?
The way you've explained that sentiment, I feel is unique. It's unique to you, and the reason I say that is because, for the most part, I don't believe, right? Generally speaking, especially here anyway, I don't believe that there's just a bunch of Nigerians that feel that Caribbean heritage people and Jamaican people specifically are just their brothers, right? And sisters. I don't believe that, because the thing is this.
For example,
Hold on.
I don't mean to cut you.
Don't worry, I'll let you respond. Hold on. The thing is this, right? For the longest time, right, in Britain, there has been a distinction made, right, between people who are West African and people who are Caribbean. The cultures are different, right? And there have been tensions for a long time. I will start making posts, guys. I said I would. We even have people talking about how their parents didn't want them as West African people, depending on what country they're from, right? Didn't want them around Caribbean children. Okay. When I moved to London from Birmingham, it was a shock to me, because I was only used to being around Caribbean heritage Black people, because Birmingham was heavily Caribbean when it came to Black people. But in London, in North London specifically, there were a lot of West African people, way more than Caribbean people. Like, it was hard for me to meet people that were of my background, right? When I saw them, I'd see them, but generally speaking, the majority were West African people, very Nigerian heavy, and very Ghanaian, but heavily Nigerian, right? And when being around these different West African communities, they were very honest about it. Oh yeah, my mom used to say that you guys were the children of slaves. I said, oh, that's new. I didn't know that. I knew that there was a tension between Caribbean heritage people and West African people, but I didn't know about the narrative of us being seen as children of slaves, or like weed heads, and you shouldn't be around Caribbeans and all these weird shit. I didn't know about that. The thing is, I know now they were very honest about it. I'm glad they were honest about it. But this idea that we're perceived as like the distant siblings or some shit, I just don't believe that at all. I genuinely do not believe it. I also think that this idea of it's because we're family and we see you guys as relatives, so when you don't acknowledge us, essentially, it makes us feel like you're trying to cut ties with us. My thing is this, right? I see a lot of the time people using West African identity, right? So I'll use Nigerians as an example, because I'm speaking to you guys as Nigerians, right? I see people using that specific identity as a humbling tactic for the most part. So it's like, you guys, like, you don't have a language. You're just speaking pidgin. Like, you're just speaking our language. You're just speaking like Nigerian pidgin. That's not love, first and foremost. For one, it's a lie. That's the first thing. But the second thing is, it's not love when that's being said. It's not like we're family and I just wanted to say that because, we're cousins. No, it was from an aggressive place, a frustrated place. I don't know what she was frustrated about, as an example, right? This particular lady, but it's from a weird place every single time. There's the podcast. I don't remember the name of the podcast. I'll post it though. But the lady saying, "Oh, aren't Jamaicans just Nigerians?" And they're Nigerian. Now the thing is, when the Jamaican guy that they were speaking to said to them, "No, we're not Nigerian. Our history is what it is. Our coat of arms is what it is because of the ancestry and the differences on the island, right?" Hold on, let's put it on mute. But hold on, I can hear back. Okay, no, we're good. Okay, cool. When he was explaining that and he said no, one of the Nigerian girls started laughing, and he didn't say anything disrespectful. He was just explaining why and what the history is and his family and his heritage and all the rest of it, right? And the differences and the multiple backgrounds that he has, right? And then when he was explaining that, he said, it's funny because I do find that a lot of Africans say this. And then the Nigerian girl didn't like when he said Africans. She was bothered. She got irkled by it. And she said, I hate when Caribbean people say African. And he was like, why? And she was like, oh, I don't know. I don't like it. So then he said, okay, West African. She was like, okay, yeah, that's better. So I'm already hearing like you're already insecure about some shit, like obviously. And then after he explained his ancestry,
Can I
his
say,
history, his background, he explains why the coat of arms is what it is. If you look at the Jamaican coat of arms, it has two Taino people on there, a woman and a man, to explain the history and the foundations of Jamaica, and then the multicultural society that it became, that has birthed what we now know as Jamaica, all these different heritages and backgrounds, right, and different groups, okay? And then when he explained that, he only spoke the truth and facts that you can look up. He didn't say anything outlandish, anything disrespectful. And her response is, "Oh, so what? You just don't want to be African?" And it's like, you're insecure. You're bothered. That's what this is. It's not from a place of family. That's bullshit. Like it's not that. You're bothered because you didn't even like the man saying the word African. It upset you. It upset you. So I don't believe it's from this place of love and family. It's usually used as a humbling tactic. And it feels like in order for us to celebrate who we are as Caribbean heritage people in general, thank you, we have to pay homage in some way to West Africanness. And I find that strange. I find it extremely strange. Thank you. Go ahead.
can I ask you something? Can I have a Bowie? Can I ask her something?
Yeah.
Because I want to understand. I want you to. There is a history that most people wouldn't know. Is how Nigerians that migrated from Nigeria to Western nations, let's say like the United States, Britain. Britain is one of the first countries that Nigerians went to, and the Nigerians that started migrating to Britain was for education, right?
Yeah.
So a lot of these Nigerians ended up being elitist in the sense of, they had a little white mentality. It's about how educated you are. So they classified people according to their level of education. So when some of those Nigerians even came back to Nigeria, they were still like that, right? They did it to their own people in the sense of, okay, we're more educated, so we're better than you, right? So because in speaking, we got to get understanding of how this came to be. So when these Nigerians went to the UK, from the stories I heard when I was young, like with relatives that came back from the UK talking about all the dark-skinned people that they met over there, was more like a lot of them are not educated and stuff like that. So I see, if you understand a lot of the Nigerian culture of education, is that when you have Nigerian parents that are outside the country, they always want their kids to be extremely educated, right? And these parents will tell their kid not to even mess with a fellow Nigerian that's not educated. So then there was this stereotype for, like, let me even use African Americans, that a lot of African Americans are not educated. They have certain etiquette that they did not feel like was good for their kids to adapt. So they started telling their kids to stay away from specific group of people. It was because, but if those people met their criteria of what they thought was like the right way to behave, then it's cool to be friends with those people. So what we're talking about here, what you're mistaking as a Nigerian mentality is actually an elitist mentality of educated, extremely educated Nigerians, which you have a lot of in the UK.
Fine, understood. So then what are your views on the statement of Caribbean people being children of slaves? Because that's not to do with education. That's just history, isn't it? So what
I think that is completely ignorant and stupid. Any Nigerians that say that, any person, being Nigerian wherever they're from, they are freaking stupid to ever say that. That is a person who do not understand what really happened. Because you have to dissect their own understanding of the transatlantic slave trade or the Arabian slave trade or whatever slave trades that occurred in the continent now known as Africa, right? So you got to be able to understand who you're talking to. Like, what is this person talking? If a person makes a statement like that, my question would be like, why do you see it from that perspective? What makes you address people as slaves and non-slaves, right? So some of them, sometimes it might be, most people come across foreigners and maybe their first or second encounter was bad with these foreigners, because to a Nigerian, a Caribbean will be a foreigner because that's the first time they came across each other, right? and vice versa. And then they have this negative notion of just the action of one person, and they start using it to classify the whole group, right? So I'll give you an example. Sometime I went to the mall. I came across these Nigerians. They were talking. I was like, "Hey, what's up?" And we started talking. And the first question they asked me, "Oh, what tribe are you?" And I was like, "Oh, I'm Benin." And they were Yoruba. The first thing those guys said was some stereotypical stuff about Benins. I'm talking about within Nigerians. But what those idiots didn't know that I was also Yoruba, right? But because we also go with our father's tribe, we usually call our father's tribes first, right? So what I'm saying is that people have a mindset of grouping people, but until you have the time to be able to have a conversation with them and dissect their mindset, it is unwise to ever group a group of people by the behavior of a few people. You get what I mean? Because everybody is different. Like you're talking to me right now, and I'm not just.
Of course. My thing, what I'd say to that is, I am talking to you right now, and unfortunately, you represent a minority of people when it comes to those from your background that I've spoken to, who have been fair.
I would like to piggyback to what he's saying. Like, for example, this.
Okay, just a second. Hold on. One sec. After you, I'm bringing in SSK. And then Moorish Way, okay? So go ahead, and then it's SSK.
Like, I would like to piggyback what he's saying. Like, for example, this is a lot of people are forgetting that we have a diaspora. We have a Caribbean diaspora, and we have a Nigerian diaspora. A UK Nigerian is different from United States Nigerian, different from a Canadian Nigerian. Yeah. Like, we're all different. Same thing as Jamaicans too. You have Jamaicans in London, Canada, United States. Yeah. So your experience could be different from a Canadian experience and from a United States experience. Yeah. That's why I want to make sure that's why I was telling you that I was kind of confused, because in Jamaica, right? That's why I was saying that a lot of Nigerians feel like we're brothers and sisters, because in Jamaica, I don't know that you know, but they have a Yoruba land in Jamaica. Yoruba land. Yes.
Where's that in Jamaica? Hold on. Where in Jamaica is that? There's no Yoruba land in Jamaica.
Google that.
Listen,
they have
listen.
Yoruba land in Jamaica.
No, we don't.
Yeah, Google that.
No, we don't. Bro.
Google that.
Listen, I don't need to Google it, bro. I'll tell you.
Google that.
No, listen.
Google that.
No, we don't need to Google that, bro. We don't need to
Google that.
I don't need to Google that.
Google that.
What's wrong with this? This guy's troll. You troll. Anyway, I'm gonna go.
I'm not trolling. Google that. There's a Yoruba land in Jamaica. Google that.
There's a Kompong. Yeah.
Everyone stop.
Yeah.
Just so you know, this is how this is gonna go. Going forward, because when I've seen some of my other lives back, I'm saying, hold on, like when people keep talking over me, it looks mad. It looks mad. So here's what's gonna happen. For every time we have a panel on the lives, right? This is how I tell everyone to chill. If I do this more than 3 times, like if I do this and no one starts, okay, cool. Maybe you didn't see it. I'll do it again. Maybe you didn't see that. If I do this and everyone's still talking over me, the whole panel getting locked off, and then people will have to try and comment again, okay? And that's long. I don't want to have to do all of that, okay? So initially, well, I'm just going to let you guys know this is how it's going to go from now on. So you've been warned. SSK, I'm going to bring you in. But just to say, the reason it was a bit mad just now is because, like, was that you, Barry?
Yes.
You were getting hot. Like, what's that? Why are you getting hot for?
I'm not getting hot. I'm just passionate. That's it.
Okay. SSK, go ahead. Let everyone know what your ethnic background is and where you're based.
But can you confirm this?
British born Jamaican. Yeah, you're wrong, bro. There might be slight Yoruba culture in Jamaica.
No, I said a land. There's a land.
There is no land. No, you're wrong.
Can you Google it?
I don't need to Google that. But even if I Googled it, I'll tell you it's not correct if I was to Google it, bro. Yeah? And this is what I'm saying. No, it's not correct, bro.
So I just want to say that I did have a look at people.
Hold on. SSK's go. Okay, I'll bring you in a bit.
All right, Cody, big up yourself, yeah? I came in mainly to answer point 2, yeah? So obviously for me, I feel I used to be a Pan-African. years of research has kind of taught me better now. I've kind of learned that basically it's hard for me to commit to a Pan-African movement that doesn't really explain my true origin. It tells me, yeah, we're all from Africa, but that's not necessarily scientifically and genealogically true. And also, this is a movement that was started in the 19th century. Yeah, so this was started late 1800s, 1900s. So to me, it doesn't really touch on anything authentic. It's more for me a movement that was started to combat colonialism, and I get its use at the point in which it was actually created.
Yeah.
But now we've got to a point where, when I look at history since the 1930s, Pan-Africanism hasn't done anything for us. It hasn't done anything for us as a collective, yeah? What it has done is it's attached us to these trauma bonds and lies, and now it's been weaponized by the white T-man to make himself feel like he's more superior over us. And the biggest problem I have with it is, yeah, that just like you were explaining that people expect you to identify with West African culture, there is a lot, there are quite a few of us, yeah? Like myself, I've done my genealogy, and I haven't found any African connections or slave connections before slavery was abolished in Jamaica.
Our village is in Jamaica. It's called a Bukata village.
A Bukata. So a Bukata. Listen, bro. Why is it cutting? That's got nothing to do with what you're talking about.
What are you talking about? If you have no genealogy to Africa, then why is our Yoruba village in Jamaica?
Hold on, wait. One sec. Hold on.
He's an FBA.
SSK, just before you continue, give me 1 second. Bowie, is that you, Bowie? Sorry, on my laptop the layout is different, so I can't see who's talking sometimes. Okay, so Bowie, let's say that you're right. What's your point?
My point was what I was trying to say earlier is that's why a lot of Nigerians feel like there's a connection with Jamaica, and that's why a lot of people feel like what's going on, like is there beef, or do we need to come together, or do we need to cut each other off?
Okay.
Because our village is in Jamaica.
It's a community. No, it's a community. A community and a village is two different things.
Very
yeah? Right? A Bukata is a community.
No, it's a village.
No, it's not. Oh my God.
Okay, tell me, I'm Googling it right here.
SSK, it is called a Bukata village. It's literally called a Bukata village.
Are you dumb? I don't even know your name.
Everyone stop. My thing is this. Here's my thing, right? Even if there's a specific village, okay, let's go with that. Even if there is a specific village, right, that is Yoruba in Jamaica, does that now mean that the whole of Jamaica, right, needs to identify with the Yoruba people? Is that what you're saying?
No, because you are mixed with a lot of tribes. But what I'm saying, what I'm saying is there is a connection between Yoruba people and Jamaicans. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, but
and that's why a lot of Yoruba people feel like that we are family.
The problem is this, right?
Right, so first of all, yeah, even if there was a village called a Bukata community.
No, Google it first.
Stop.
Google. There's no was. Go Google your research.
I'm about to do it one more time.
No, but
if I have to do it one more time, you know what's going to happen. You know how long that is on a laptop, bro? Like, I swear down, I don't want to have to drop the whole panel. But cool, I only had to do it twice. Okay, my thing is this, right? You're saying Nigerians in America, this is how I'm picking it up anyway, that Nigerians in America see themselves as family to Jamaican people specifically, and so they don't understand when Jamaican people do not talk about being Nigerian or something to that effect, right? I mean, the Nigerian dude in Britain that I spoke to, his thing is, no, like, we see ourselves in the Brazilian people. And so, which was funny to me. So he sees his community, his Yoruba, sees his community in the Brazilian people. My thing is this, innit? Because his argument is because they practice a Yoruba religion there. My thing's this.
My daughter.
Why do you need to see yourself in other communities all the time? Why are you seeing yourself in Jamaica, and why is he seeing himself in Brazil? What is this? Like, why are you not just like Nigerian, practicing your Nigerian stuff as Nigerian people, and then saying, oh, okay, there's a community of people, we know the history, we know that our country, or the people that were in charge at the time in our part of the world, on the continent, right, in West Africa, sold people. So we know they're going to carry certain things from that history, right? So we know that's how it ended up in these different locations. But why is it now, well, we just need you guys to just acknowledge that you're us and we see us and you, and why? I don't like, why? What is it? Why? You can answer, because I genuinely want to know what this is, because it's a lot. It feels so unnecessary to me.
You say you want to know why a lot of Nigerians are claiming other people?
Yeah.
Because you guys are our descendants. That's why. That's why I was saying earlier.
Who's descendants?
You need to
Nigerian
make a
descendants.
Pacific.
Who's descendants?
Do you want to cut off ties?
You know, it's funny you saying that, yeah, because someone actually said to me before, they said, you guys are our children. Caribbean people are our children.
No.
And I'm like, yo.
No. I won't go that far. No.
Oh,
because our uncles, our aunts, our fathers,
brother Bowie. Brother Bowie, I think what you were trying to say is that we share ancestry. We have the same ancestors. We cousins. I think that's what you're trying to say. Yeah.
Basically, yes.
Go on,
I agree with that.
Finish your point.
So I agree with that, Black Gold. But this is what I'm trying to say. The difference is that what people fail to understand here when we're looking at colonialism is a lot of our history was erased and a lot of it was whitewashed. And there were also some of us, dirty Moors from Europe and the Caribbean, the Americas, and Africa that were washing our genes into white people. Yeah, so we were selectively breeding with only groups of people to wash our identity. This is proof. We've got evidence of it in Europe, evidence of it in America. Now, when we see cultures like Yoruba culture, Twa culture in Jamaica, that doesn't necessarily mean it was brought to the Caribbean via slavery, because people were trading, for thousands of years. There's already evidence of tobacco, being traded by purveyors from the Americas way before the Europeans even started enslaving. So all I'm saying is about Pan-Africanism is this: it was more a reaction to colonialism, but what we've lost now is the history that we said we're going to put aside, because what's now important is defeating this YT man that's trying to take over everything. That's why for me I'm no longer a Pan-Africanist. At the same time, I'm not one of these anti-Africans running around insulting Africans. What I do want to say, what I'd say to all people is, us from the Caribbean need to go and look into our history completely and ultimately, so we realize who the hell we are, and Africans need to do that as well. And once we do that on both sides, then we can think about uniting and taking back control. But until then, we're going to be constantly fighting amongst each other because we refuse to go and look at and revise this history that this YT man's given us on both sides. Let's be real. The education system in Jamaica and the education in Africa is controlled by the YT man. In Africa, you got the Bible in all your tribal languages, but you got no science books, no educational books in all your tribal languages. That in itself is showing that someone's playing against us.